Welcome to Love Talk. I'm Gregory Morgan, and I'm glad to be here. This show is all about love, and love in its many forms. In fact, one of the things that I'm going to talk to you about today is I'm going to distinguish love. Love has been distinguished over time. There's poets and songwriters and books and everything that has written about love, and yet mostly the love that you hear about in stories and books and poems is a type of love that is the most problematic, the one that has the most challenges, the ones in which people get totally messed up, and that is the love called eros, after the Greek word that signifies erotic love, or the love of eros. And eros is any kind of love that involves sexuality, that involves intimate contact. So any kind of love that involves intimate contact would be considered erotic love, or eros. And that is the form of love where people have the most difficulty, the biggest challenges. That's where we get the most messed up. So I'm going to be talking about that today. And I want to distinguish it from the various types of love that people experience in the natural unfoldment or evolution of their lifetime. I've studied many fields in my lifetime. Of those fields, I came to a conclusion when I was about 45 that although I knew a lot about communication and how to create teams and how to provide leadership for people, or how to be a good speaker and presenter, a number of things that I had trained in and gotten developed in, but what I did not understand, or what I didn't seem to have a grasp on at that late stage of my life, was what works and doesn't work in relationship, particularly erotic relationships, marriage, masculine, feminine relationships. I didn't have a clue. I had had a lot of relationships. The fact that I had had a lot of relationships and they had all ended in failure in one way or the other, either in failure or by mutual agreement, or maybe in the beginning of your life you experiment with a lot of different kinds of relationships or different people until you get to a place where you come to know yourself. And once you come to know yourself, once you come to know who you are and what it is that you're about, then you begin to have something that you can base a relationship on. Until then, it's all guesswork, unless and until you have taken advantage of some of the educational materials and services and resources that are available to you. And there's a lot. If any of you have been to the library or been to a bookstore, then you can see that there are tons and tons and tons of books and CDs and DVDs about relationship. Around age 45, 46, 47, I began to study and absorb everything that I could get my hands on. I began to go and get personal coaching from one of the best relationship people that I know of on the planet. Her name is Dr. Pat Allen, and I give her credit for much of my education, much of my mentoring, for authoring original works about what works and doesn't work in relationships with men, then authorizing me to teach my own version of those works. So imagine when you're completely relaxed and you're intently focused on something, you can imagine how your ability to learn and absorb and remember and recall the information that you come up with would be enhanced. For the most part, most human beings in our normal everyday state are operating on about 6 or 7 levels of consciousness at the same time, meaning that we're processing, even though we don't know it, even though it's not in our conscious awareness, we're processing an enormous amount of data. Right now, wherever you are, there's the lights in the room, there's the sounds going on in the room, but there's also maybe sounds going on outside the room that you're also aware of. So just on the level of audio, you're processing a large number of stuff. The sound of my voice, your brain is going through. Then on a visual level, you're also processing everything that you're seeing. You're not just seeing the television set. You're also seeing the lights in the room, and if you look in your peripheral vision, you're also seeing the side walls or whatever's around you. You may be able to see a mirror or something, so you may be able to see things that are behind you or to the side of you. So you're actually seeing, just on a visual level, a lot of information. So you're seeing a lot of stuff, you're hearing a lot of stuff. Then there's the stuff that you're feeling, not just on a physical level, but you're feeling, if you're sitting in a chair, you're feeling your body sitting on the chair and your feet on the floor. You're feeling your hands, you're feeling your back against the backrest, you're feeling the temperature in the room. If there's air moving, So there's a lot of things that you're feeling just on a physical level that you're also processing. Then there's the inner feelings. There's stuff that you may be feeling inside, maybe not speaking of physical stuff like indigestion or heartburn or something like that, but you may be having some emotional feelings. You may be experiencing happiness or wonderment or sadness or boredom, hopefully not. There may be all kinds of things that you're feeling and processing on the inside, just on an interior level, that are connected emotionally and psychologically and mentally. Some of the things that you're processing are images and thoughts and feelings that are just completely interior. Like if we opened you up and looked in there, we wouldn't see them. There would be nothing to see, and yet for you, they're very, very real. And then some of you are experiencing like a voiceover. There's like a little voice in your head that's going, what voice is he talking about? I don't hear a voice. Maybe he hears voices, but I don't hear voices. So that voice that's processing in words, that's sort of commenting on my comments, or commenting on what's going to happen next or what just happened. You have a voice inside your head that actually talks to you. And so some of you are processing that as well. So why do I point all of this out? Begin to give you the ability to distinguish and discern that there is a tremendous amount of information that you're processing at all times. Thousands and thousands of bits of information are coming at you constantly. And so hypnosis is the ability to focus out, in other words, to put into the background so that some of those things fade out, fade away, and bring to the foreground of your mind, or your mind's eye, the thing that you want to focus on, the thing that you want to concentrate on, and then begin to use, in the case of a hypnotherapist, then while arriving at that state, hypnotherapy is simply a therapy that takes place in a state of heightened awareness, expanded consciousness, and relaxed focus, a really intense focus. So really you're focusing on something to the exclusion of all other data so that you can better process your interior images, thoughts, feelings, and notions, and begin to get in touch with the ability that you have and that I have to imagine things in time and space that only exist in our own imaginings, if you will. You're able to imagine forward into time or backwards into time. And when I say imagine, I mean to render as an image. To imagine is to create an image in the mind's eye. And so you're able to imagine things in the future and things in the past, and you're able to see barriers or thoughts, feelings, and emotions that may have held you back or hindered you in some way in your life. And we're able to, through hypnotherapy, to be able to consciously deal with those things, to erase them, to put them on the side, to get them resolved in some cases. Some cases you'll have like two different parts of yourself that may be working against each other. Like one part wants this and one part wants that. They're working against each other. So inside you feel torn and undecided and therefore powerless to move forward in your life. One of the powerful things that we do in hypnotherapy and NLP is be able to resolve inner conflicts such that you work together so that these two parts that are apparently diverse or separate are actually two different sides of the same personality, your true personality, and begin to bring those together so that they actually work together in a harmonious fashion, and you begin to move forward in your life. So those things that may have held you back or appeared as obstacles no longer are obstacles, simply because the conflicted sides of yourself have found a resolution. It's interesting to note that if each and every individual that I've ever worked with has been able to do this, why couldn't we do this on a cultural level, on a family level, on a couple's level, on a level between parents and children, or between two countries, or several countries, or religions, or ideologies? I believe that all conflicts are values conflicts. Conflicts in values. I value one thing, you value something else, and apparently those two don't meet. But when we look at what's underneath why I value this thing, or why you value that, and when we look higher up to a higher state of consciousness of what those values are held in place to serve, what higher purpose they're serving, we often find that the thing that I value that you don't, or that you value that I don't, are actually working together to achieve a common goal. I've been working with couples and individuals using this couples resolution, or this, really the values resolutions with the couples, such that they find themselves, without having to remember something, without having to take a lot of notes, or without having to follow some rules or any of that, they find themselves automatically, subconsciously given towards working together towards a common goal. There's a bond that takes place when you realize that your goals and someone else's goals are the same, and that you have different ways of working towards it, and that what they're bringing to the partnership is just as valuable, if not more valuable, than what you're bringing to the partnership. And you both begin to arise to the occasion and actually work towards something that's bigger and greater than your own personal, petty wants, needs, desires, complaints, and attachments to being a victim. Something that's greater than your own life, that has a purpose, that serves not only your life, the lives of others. So the phones are starting to ring, so I'm going to go ahead and take some calls, and then we'll talk about some other stuff later, okay? Hello, this is Gregory.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I am the one. I always spoil my friend. Each time I want to do a new relation with my friend or anything, I just do the same thing, and I spoil them financially or love. Just too much. You know what I mean?
You spoil your friends financially. You say that you're tired of them all coming to you because of your money, and yet you continue to do that even though you try to change and you don't. And you continue to spoil your friends financially and do the same old routine. So what I'm hearing is that, what kind of person would have to go around proving that they're lovable by being overly generous to the point of, and then complaining about it. So see, your generosity isn't actual authentic generosity. It's coming from wanting to please people. I'm suspecting, from what I'm hearing, that if you were to suddenly stop doing that, is there some concern that your friends would go away?
Well, I'm not sure.
Well, I'm sure that if I didn't spend a dime on my friends, they wouldn't go away. Now, I like to spend money on my friends too, but I don't have to. I just do it because I want to, because I love them. I don't do it because I need them. I don't need them. I don't actually need my friends. I love them because of who they are, and they love me back. And if they loved me because of my money, then they wouldn't be my friends, really, would they?
You know, the problem is not only the financially, I just want to be so nice, and sometimes I really can't say no.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to put so much pressure on me, and I have to really work hard or spend money or just do loads of work to just please my friend. And I just get tired,
Okay, so are you somebody that has a lot of money? Because now you're telling me you have to work really hard to get the money.
No. I don't need to work so hard for the money.
Okay. So you're somebody that has a lot of money.
Right.
Okay, so you have a lot of money, and so what's all the hard work about?
No, I mean, like, sometimes my friend asks me a favor, and I can't say no.
Mm-hmm. And what's between you and saying, no, I'm not going to do that?
Sometimes I think if I say no, they're going to get disappointed, and...
Yeah, so what if they got disappointed?
It's just, I don't know.
Well, what happens if your friends get disappointed?
Maybe I'm worried to judge me. I don't know.
Maybe they would leave you?
Maybe.
Yeah. Listen, if your friends were only there for your money, in other words, if you had to buy friends, they're not really your friends anyhow, are they?
I know.
So if you have to buy friends, what does that say about you?
Well, I have many qualities, and they really...
I'm sure you do. I'm sure you have many qualities, but what does it say about your relationship to yourself? See, we can talk about your qualities and your money, and I'm sure you're a fine man. You don't think so. In other words,
right.
There's a self-esteem issue here, or you wouldn't even consider buying friends.
Maybe I just feel insecure, and I just want to just keep some people around me.
Yeah.
To won't be lonely, or maybe I'm worried.
Mm-hmm.
To just,
what other things about yourself do you feel secure about? You feel secure about your money. What else do you feel secure about?
My job, my family.
Okay. Do you have any personal, because those are all external things They could all go away. The money could go away, the family could go away, your job could go away. Then what would you be left with that you're proud of and that nobody can take from you?
My talent.
Okay, so what talents is that?
It's something what I am, and I do some work in fashion, and this is my talent. And
okay, so you're talented in the area of fashion. Perhaps you're a designer or a graphic artist or something like that?
Yeah, as a fashion designer.
Okay, great. Well, so that's awesome. So you're a fashion designer and you're very talented at that, and it makes you money. And if everything else went away, you'd still have that talent. Yes?
Right.
Okay. Anything else?
My mom.
Your mom, but she could go away. She will go away, by the way, one day. All mothers do.
I don't want to hear that anyway.
I know you don't want to hear it, but you know it's true. So what you're going around pretending that it's not, she will.
My problem actually is...
Wait, you're telling me what your problem is. I don't think you know what your problem is.
The thing is, I always take the same routine.
Yeah, I know. It's called a racket. It's when somebody does the same thing over and over, expecting a different result, and complaining about it. That's a racket. You see, you got a payoff for that. There's something that you get out of that, but what you're getting out of it is not worth what you're paying for it, and you know that. And that's why you called, by the way. Yeah, so there's nothing that you can do to gain self-esteem that has to do with your job or your talent or your money or your family or your friends, because all of that can go away, okay? I'm talking about personal interior qualities that nobody can take away from you. And most people, you're not unique. Most of the people that are watching this show have never taken the time in their entire lifetime to find out, what am I about? What is my irrevocable commitment to my life and to the life of others? What is it that I stand for, and what is it that I will not put up with?
Right.
In other words, most people do not create themselves to be a force to be dealt with in the world that can take it or leave it. You see what I'm saying? That can stand on their own without any support, and that if everything and everybody went away, they'd still have a core meaning in their life that they are true to no matter what, and that they would willingly give their life for. Something that they value, that they would give their life for, no kidding. Now, for some people, they have children, they go, it's my kids. Okay, fine, but your kids could go away. Then what are you going to stand for, right? I'll speak about myself for a minute. I stand for honor. I stand for integrity. I am committed to living a life of mastery. Now, what does that mean? Does it mean I'm a master? Yes, no, maybe, I don't know. It means that I'm committed to an ongoing process, no matter how boring, no matter how repetitive, no matter how tiring, to master the art of living itself. That's a big order, and I don't know what it looks like. I don't know if I'll ever get there, but that's what my life's about. Now, nobody can take that away from me. You could not take that away from me. Nobody could. Everybody and everything else could go away, and I'll still be standing there committed to that and animated by that and valuing that. And even if nobody else lines up with me and wants to play that game called honor, integrity, and mastery, I'll play it by myself because it's worth it. It's worth it for myself, and I'm committed that I bring something to the world that will last past my own lifetime. So even if they take this body away and there's no Gregory anymore, that honor, integrity, and mastery will still be standing where I used to be. You get something like that in your life, and then your friends will change. First of all, some of them will go away, and some of them, and new ones will come. Ones that actually are standing alongside of what it is that you're standing for. Now, I'm not proposing that you take mine, but I would enroll you in it because that's what I stand for. So everywhere I go, everything I'm doing is and intending to enroll people. In other words, to get them interested in, to actually get them to open up their ears and be interested in honor and integrity and mastering their life. Not my life, their life. You see, your life. Why honor and integrity? Because honor is something that you can only have when you're being true to yourself, to your own inner core. And it takes integrity to do that. You have to have integrity to be able to honor what you're really about. And that's just sort of the beginning. If you can honor yourself and have integrity in that, you will begin to start to master your lifetime. There'll be things that you'll see, no, not that, thank you very much. There'll be things that'll enter into your life for a certain period of time and you'll go, that's good, and then one day you'll outgrow them and you'll have the integrity to let them go. Whether it's relationships, people's, jobs, talents, there's some things that you have to let go at different times in your life if you're to master life. And then there'll be new things that you don't know anything about yet, and they'll come into your life and you'll have no idea, and you won't want to do them because you're just going to be a beginner, whereas just yesterday you were a master. Today you're a beginner at something new and you won't want to do it and be a beginner because you'll feel stupid, and you do it anyhow. And you fail at it and you keep going and you fail at it and then you get better at it, and then years later you master it, and it builds something inside you that nobody can take away ever. And it has nothing to do with money. You would do it for free. And then whatever you do for money, it's just money. It's just some money. There'll be people that'll come, there'll be people that'll go, but you will be on a path that is true to yourself. Now, I know that when you called to ask me this question, you didn't expect to hear that answer, but that's what's missing in your life. There's no inner core to you. There is, but you haven't discovered it yet. And I don't think until just now, hopefully this conversation has you looking at, what's my life about? That's my intention. But if it's just about, what can I do about not spoiling my friends with money? Cut it out. Stop doing it. Period. That's the short answer. That's the advanced answer.
I believe if when we go out, like I'm the only sugar daddy, I have to pay for everything.
Well, stop doing that and tell them you're going to stop doing it. Don't just stop doing it so that you end up having to wash dishes, but to get out of the restaurant, just say, hey guys, you know what? I'm changing. I've been paying for everything all along, and I had this conversation with this guy, and I realized that I have to stop doing that. And I hope that you stay being my friends because I actually care about you and I want to have our friendship. But, that time where I'm paying for everything all the time, I'm done with that. I think you guys ought to pay sometime. So why don't you guys take me out tonight?
Okay.
Now, you would have to have some self-respect. You'd have to have self-respect to be able to even say that. You'd have to have self-respect and value yourself as a human being and as a man in order to even have the guts to say something like that. They're all going to look at you like, what? Where are you coming off with that?
Exactly.
Right? It's like, well, okay, if you don't want to go out, we can stay home and do something else. But, I'm done paying for everybody, and it's not about the money. It's about my personal self-esteem. So if you really care about me, then great. You can stick around. If all you care about is that I'm always paying for everything and you get to go out for free, then see ya. I'm going to find some new friends.
Oh my God. I hope I can try. I have to. I know exactly where you're coming from.
Hope and try are very weak words. I want you to know that. If you were drowning in the ocean and I was driving by with a boat and I had a rope with a lifesaver on it and you're drowning and you said, toss me the rope, and I said, well, I hope I can try. How would you like that? You want me to toss you the damn life jacket, right? I just tossed you a life jacket and you just said, well, I hope I can try to reach it.
No. I know exactly what you mean.
If you think there's another way out of this thing that you're in, good luck.
No, I know what you mean.
I just gave you the short way out. You can go to see a psychologist or a coach or something like that for years. I just gave you the one thing. See, you would try 100 things except the one thing that will put a stop to it. You won't do that. Now, I'm hoping that you will. I hope you try. I'm intending that you actually do that. That's the one thing that will, for certain, stop this kind of thing. Just stop doing it. It's like if you're beating your head with a hammer and you go, I have this headache and I keep trying to stop, to have this headache. I want to stop having this headache, but I can't. And then you keep hitting yourself with the hammer. I say, stop hitting yourself with the hammer. And you go, well, I hope I try. That's about how silly that is. Okay? So you go hope and try all you want, but in the end, when you stop paying for your friends and tell them that you're going to stop doing that.
I have to tell them, right.
Otherwise, they're all going to show up, and when the check comes, they're all going to lean back and wait for you to get out your wallet. I don't think that's a good time to tell them.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Right.
That's not a good time to tell them.
No.
Tell them in advance. Say, look, we're going to go out tonight, and here's what's going to happen. I'm not going to take the check. See what happens then. Watch them start saying, my girlfriend called and this, that, and the other, and my thing, I think my mom's sick, or, my car broke down.
They will disappear everywhere.
Like cockroaches with the kitchen light turned on.
Right.
Okay? So you're buying your friends because you don't have self-esteem. You don't have self-esteem because you haven't developed your inner core. All of your points of reference are outside yourself. And so you are looking at gaining value in the world through others. And you're willing to work hard and pay for them to act like, pretend that they care about you. It's kind of pitiful. Instead of generating something of value and saying, this is who I am, this is what I stand for, no kidding, and if you want to hang out with me, great, pay your own check and take me out every now and then because I'm worth it, okay? All right, good luck with that. Let me know how that turns out.
I will definitely try.
All right. Yeah, I know you'll try. Just do it. All right.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Now I'm going to go ahead and take some calls. There's some people who've been patiently waiting on the line. Hello, this is Gregory. Thank you for waiting. You're live on the air.
Hi, Mr. Gregory. I would like to ask you a question about the toxic shame and how it will affect a monogamous relationship in the long term.
Toxic shame, that's a pretty cool name.
I'm going to hang up and listen to you if you don't mind.
Well, no, I prefer to have an interaction, if you don't mind. I can answer general questions. You called and asked this question because it's in your life, isn't it?
Yeah, someone close to me.
Someone close to you, and it has some shame going on, and you're calling it toxic shame. I'd like to know where you came up with that term. It's not that I haven't heard the term. It's a common term, but it's a clinical sort of take on something. What is it exactly that you're calling toxic shame?
Well, something that happened a long time ago, and this person has been holding it for a long time. Since, his childhood.
Since childhood. So were they molested or something? Were they molested or something?
No, it was like more of affecting a relationship, family relationship.
It was something that happened in their family that they're ashamed of?
Yeah, they're ashamed of. He's ashamed of. Okay,
but it happened to him?
Yes.
Yeah, like my dad did things I was ashamed of, but he didn't do it to me. Do you know what I mean? I'm ashamed for him. I'm embarrassed for him, but it didn't hurt me.
Family.
So something happened in his family to him that he's ashamed of?
Yes.
Okay, and when you say he's carrying that around, does it mean that he's never shared about it, he's never got it resolved, he's never been treated or had any kind of therapy to clear that?
It's a certain kind of anger. It's like a blind spot. Sometimes when we talk about something and you hear something in return and you feel like, gosh, where is that coming from? And when you go back, you're like, my gosh, the same story is happening over and over.
Sure, I got it. So I just wanted to clarify that for you and for our audience as well. All shame is toxic. That's why we move away from it naturally. You see, when you think of things that you're ashamed of, you move away from them, yes? You want to get away from shame. Well, that's a natural occurrence because it's toxic. So it's normal to be ashamed, first of all. There was an entire generation, my generation, and it continues into the next 2 or 3 generations, where the idea was put forth by a Dr. Spock, okay, who all of our mothers, my mothers, read. And it put forth the idea that we should never shame children, okay? That we shouldn't shame them, like shame on you, and make them feel ashamed of the bad things that they did, okay? Now, it sounds great, right? Sounds like a good idea, like a revolutionary way of raising kids. However, what was overlooked is that without shame, which is one side of the hand, there's no honor. Shame and honor are 2 sides of the same coin. The only thing that would have this man feel ashamed is because he has a high sense of honor. His honor was offended. His honor was abused or taken advantage of. Did you see? It is because he is honorable that he feels this shame. Do you understand?
Yes.
And until he can resolve that for himself, till he can stand on the side of honor. When you're standing on the side of honor, the shameful things that have happened in life is basically just some stuff that happened. Because we have this thing that was saying in America, that happens, right? It happens. I'm saying it the nice version, right? It happens.
Yeah.
Stuff happens. And the world and the society and life itself actually doesn't care whether you like it or not. It's just happening. Stuff's happening, right? Someday a kid walks out in front of a car and gets hit.
Kind of a self-destructive.
Well, yes. And this is where the shame, when you say it's toxic, this is where the shame becomes a racket. What I call a racket. It's, in other words, you're doing something over and over again. You're complaining about it, saying you want it to change. However, you'll do anything and everything but the one thing that would change it. There's always something that would change it. There's always something that would flip it, that would get it resolved, that would get it in, that would put an end to it forever. There is something. Now, I don't pretend to know what that particular thing is for this guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if I had him in therapy for an hour, I would know within the first 30 minutes what it is that he needs to do to get that completely resolved for himself. Then there may be some bad habits and some messes that he's made with his bad mouth and his bad attitude in life that he might need to go back and clean up, right? But
Definitely.
in other words, you know, you go around being toxic in your environment with all your relationships for a whole lifetime, there may be some messes to clean up. There may be some people to go back to and apologize to and say, hey, you know, I did this, that, and the other, and I'm really sorry. Is there anything I can do to make it right? I mean, I got to tell you that, you know, that was just awful that I did that, and I really mean it that I've changed, and you can count on me. I'll never, ever do anything like that again. I'm so sorry. Something like that, right? That's some way of cleaning up messes that we have to go do that then gets it healed for them, because they may have taken on some of this toxic shame you're talking about, you see? When you feel shameful, you make others feel shameful, yes?
Exactly.
You embarrass them, you say mean things to them so they feel diminished. You know, you try to jack yourself up to feel better, and one of the ways you do that is putting other people down, making them feel like they're less than you. I know. I've lived this. I know exactly what I'm talking about. I had what you're talking about is called toxic shame for a large part of my life, and more than likely why I'm even sitting here today and talking to you is because I had that, because I had the bad things that happened to me in my life that, you know, when I found out that it was like, wow, my dad had the same things happen from his dad, and his dad had the same things happen from his dad. Oh, I get it. I can put a stop to that in my generation. I'm going to say it stops here with me. I will resolve it in my lifetime, and I did. And now I help other people resolve it, you see? So that, and part of what I had to do was go back and clean up some of the messes that I'd made in my life, and some of the people, well, they were gone. I could never find them again, but the best I could do was to go back and apologize to people that I'd hurt their feelings or whatever, you know, as much as I could. That's later. He's nowhere near that right now. Right now, what he needs to do is with someone, me or somebody else, who can actually get that. There was a specific moment in time in which it flipped, you see? Now, I know that in the telling of it, it may be a series of events that look like they were, well, it happened there and there and there and there. There will be a series of events that are linked together in which the shameful attitude and feeling propagated itself throughout his life. However, there's a specific moment in time that's held in his subconscious mind like an image. And when we unlock that image, when we go and unlock that image, literally like erasing something on your hard drive, it's gone. Now, it doesn't mean you get amnesia and you can't remember it. It's just the charge is gone. It's no longer got the programming around it. It's just, oh, I can remember that vividly. And it's like if you had a really bad meal and got sick. You're not traumatized by it, but you don't go back to that restaurant, right?
Yes.
You go, oh yeah, I don't feel like eating that anymore, thanks a lot. So you just don't go back. You just don't go there anymore. You know, you're all better now. So whatever happened to him when he was a child, he didn't have the interior circuitry, the hardwiring. You understand what I'm saying? He didn't have he didn't have the neurological synapses and circuits to deal with it. It overwhelmed him. Now, if the same thing happened right now as an adult, well, it just wouldn't, right? It just wouldn't happen, first of all, because he wouldn't let it happen. He'd just say, right? And you couldn't do that. Or if anything like that did happen, he would like find a way to deal with it that would be a healthy way that would be a more powerful way to deal with it. Back then he couldn't.
Exactly.
Back then he couldn't. So what's left in the subconscious mind is, I'm weak, I'm worthless, I'm unloved, I'm shameful, I'm dirty, I'm this, I'm that, I'm no good, and then you lie about it to everybody. Did that happen? No.
Exactly.
Right? That never happened. Are you kidding?
When a challenging situation pops up, he's in a place of self-rejection all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And the whole system, in other words, when I talk about the system, I'm talking about the spiritual, mental, physical, emotional, the entire neurological and subconscious system. The system that you are as a human being is compromised. That you are, that he is, that we are as human beings. We have a self-sustaining, self-healing system. Literally, no real reason to get old and sick and die, really. If you were running at 100%, your body, mentally, psychically, emotionally, and everything was running at its full capacity, illnesses and stuff would tend to bounce off or get resolved or be neutralized, as well as aging and a whole host of other things.
Right.
It's the compromise that's in our system that has us keep breaking down. And then we keep propagating that out into our environment, so it gets fed back to us. So we put it back out there and it gets fed back to us. You see?
Is there a way, you can help him to, instead of putting him down this way, motivating him more?
Well, absolutely.
Whatever happens.
Absolutely, but he has to ask for it. In other words, it can't be because you told him to, hey, you're weird, go get fixed, right? He's got to say, I have come to a place where I now need to resolve this for myself, and I'm going to go ask for help and pay for it. I'm going to go get some help and pay for it. There's going to be an exchange of energy. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yes, I absolutely can. My whole life and career is about that. Like I said earlier, it was motivated by similar circumstances in the first place. So I've spent a lifetime healing myself, and now I'm spending the rest of my life healing others. And when I say healing, it's not because he's broken or anything. It's just because he's got an unusual circumstance that he's having difficulty to deal with. It's an unusual. Whatever happened to him is not normal. It's not usual. So he's having a hard time dealing with it, right?
Right.
And so how he's dealing with it is inefficient and causing pain to others. So absolutely, I do hypnotherapy and counseling and coaching through Skype or on the phone.
Yes.
Or in person. You can call my office and set it up, okay?
To be honest with you, I talked to Dr. Azito not long ago, and I'm going to go to Iran, and we're going to make an arrangement on that.
Okay.
So hopefully he will talk to you himself in person.
That'd be great.
Sure,
you're welcome. You're absolutely welcome.
Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Thanks for watching my show, and thanks for your question. All right. Good day. You've been watching Love Talk. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your interest, and I will see you back here again next week.
در کارگاه‌های آموزشی بانوان به رهبری دکتر آزیتا سایان خود واقعیتان و همچنین مردان را بشناسید و با استفاده از قدرت زنانه خود روابطی سالم و عاشقانه بسازید. همبورگ 28 فوریه تا اول مارچ، لس آنجلس 17 تا 19 آپریل، تورنتو 26 تا 28 جون و ایروان ارمنستان 6 تا 8 آگوست برگزار خواهد شد. 310 460 2600 embracegrowth.com.
Embrace Growth has a new home online where you can easily register for workshops and events, order from the online store, and be part of the worldwide community of Embrace Growth graduates. You'll be able to see Dr. Rosita Sayan and Mr. Gregory Morgan in your favorite seminars. Visit us today at embracegrowth.com.
یک مرد منحصر به فرد، مسلط، متمرکز، قابل اعتماد و رضایتمند باشید. کارگاه شرافت، عزت کلام و مهارت به رهبری دکتر آزیتا سایان. لس آنجلس 13 تا 15 مارچ، تورنتو 16 تا 18 اکتبر و ایروان ارمنستان 5 تا 7 نوامبر. برای اطلاعات بیشتر با شماره 310 460 2600 تماس بگیرید. اپلیکیشن Embrace Growth با ساختن اکانت شخصی شما می توانید وارد پروفایل خود شده و تنظیمات آن را تغییر دهید. به تمامی رویدادها و محصولات دسترسی داشته باشید. با چند کلیک برای سمینارها و کارگاه‌ها ثبت نام کنید و یا وقت مشاوره خود را رزرو نمایید. اپلیکیشن Embrace Growth را امروز از اپ استور دانلود کنید و به خانواده جهانی Embrace Growth بپیوندید.